The winner of the 2012 Telstra Business Woman of the Year for Queensland is Therese Rain.
Wow. This feels quite overwhelming. So I wanted to thank Telstra for their wonderful commitment in telling the stories and encouraging women around the country now for 18 years to tell their stories, to stand up and be proud and say, actually, I did this. And I did this with the help of a lot of people and with a lot of encouragement, but I pushed through and I did this. That has made, I think, the national conversation about women and what women can do change, because the more stories we have, the more we have the sense of the art of the possible, the more we have the sense that, yes, this is possible. This is possible. If it's possible for her, it's possible for me, and maybe I can dare to dream. I'd like to thank also Marie Claire, Nokia, Hudson, the White Pages and the Commonwealth Bank for their continued commitment to these awards. That makes a difference. I'd like to talk to you about some inspirations for me, my parents, a woman and a country. When I was about 11 or 12, I remember learning or trying to learn how to do long division. And I don't know, I just was a bit messy on the page, I think, and I could never get all those numbers to stack up, and I didn't think I could do it. My dad loved maths, and he used to want me to do well at maths, and actually he would drive me to school sometimes if I had a maths test, so I had quite a few maths tests. And I remember one day, every time he would drive me, he would say, now make sure, Therese, you read the question again, and check your answer. And this time I was going off to a long division test, and he said to me, that, read the question, read it again, and check your answer. And I said, Dad, I can't do it. I can't do it. I could read that question 100 times, and I know I'm not going to be able to do it. And he told me the story of the little red engine. The little red engine who could. He said, I'm going to tell you a story. And I'm going, I'm 12. I'm rolling my eyes. And I said, I'm a bit old for stories. And he said, you're not too old for this one. And so he told me about the little red engine that had a big load, and it was chugging across the plain, and then it was approaching the hill. And as it approached the hill, it said to itself, I think I can. And as it got up ahead of steam, it went, I think I can, I think I can. And it started to push up the hill, I think I can, I think I can. And then it got really, really hard, as life in business and life sometimes does. It got really, really hard. And the little red engine said to itself, I know I can, I know I can. And it dug deep. And then it got to the top of the hill and it went, I knew I could, I knew I could, I knew I could, as it went down the other side of the hill. Having my dad driving a car with a hand control, with a wheelchair in the back, off to work, as he went through every day in a wheelchair, with discipline, with commitment, and digging deep. Having him tell me that story made me think, oh, I can't really tell myself that I can't. And he said, you can if you think you can. So, as it is, the incredible can come from anywhere. I think you can is very enabling, and I want to tell you the story of a woman whose name is Frances Jane Edwards. And one day when I resigned from my previous job because I found out they weren't playing straight, and I went to see her, she said, so Therese, have you ever thought about starting your own business? What are you going to do now? I said, I don't know, I'll go and get a job somewhere. I was working as a rehabilitation counsellor, helping people who had injuries and who couldn't go back to their pre-injury occupation. I was helping them to work out what they could do, and little steps to take to get there. And I thought I'd go and work with Commonwealth Rehab Service or somewhere, and she said, have you ever thought about starting your own business? And I said, no, because it had never actually crossed my mind. And she said, well, if you did, I would invest. And I said, what, money? And she said, yes, money. And I said, why? And she said, well, I think Southeast Queensland needs a highly professional, ethical, private rehabilitation provider. And I think you can do that. And if you were prepared to do that, I would be prepared to invest money. Her "I think you can" was immensely enabling, and I thank her for that. I also thank Kevin, who, when I went home that night with my one-page mind-mapped business plan and what I now understand to be a profit and loss cash flow budget, which I kind of made up, and said we'd need to borrow $7,800, hopefully from the Commonwealth Bank, and we'd need a $10,000 overdraft. And I would do my very best not to lose it, but if I did, would he divorce me? And he said no. So I thank him for that. I think you can. He said, I think you'd be good at that. So people who say in our lives, I think you can, are immensely enabling. And that's what we, in fact, do around the world, most recently in Saudi Arabia, where we have 3 offices staffed by Saudi women, helping Saudi women into decent, lasting jobs for the first time in their lives. And our Saudi staff, our Saudi female staff, wearing the veil, having negotiated themselves through the process of I need to work and I want to work and this is what I'd like to do, and they've had to negotiate that at home and wherever, are helping other women to do that, and they are saying to those women, see, if I can do it, so can you. So we're doing that in 10 countries around the world, and we love the work we do. I'm also finally immensely grateful to this country. This is a great country to do business in. It's a great country because we have access to education. We have access to freedom. We have access to capital. We're innovative. We're early adopters. We're pragmatic. We look at, here's a need, like look at Juliet Wright and give it. Here's a need, how do I meet that need? Fabulous. So we're innovative, we're pragmatic, we're early adopters, and we don't stereotype. This country, this wonderful country, has made it possible for me to come up with some ideas, practice them, grow them in this country, take them to help people in the United Kingdom, in France, in Germany, in Sweden, in Switzerland, in Poland, in South Korea, in Saudi Arabia, back here again. I'm pleased to be home. Back here again, in New Zealand, and now in Papua New Guinea. So I'm immensely grateful to this country. We have a great country. We can do anything together. Thank you for this vote of confidence and this encouragement.